Hey everyone, my name is Mike, and I would like to start reviewing movies that I see in 2026. So the first one, the first weekend of January, it was actually a film called We Bury the Dead. I would have seen Primate. I thought maybe perhaps that would have been the first film, but now since I saw this, I'm not gonna go see that because that doesn't look good at all. And I never even saw a preview for this film. I only knew that it was a Daisy Ridley zombie movie. Um, it was not good. A cold open with something that I absolutely have a distaste for in any sort of type of media. One scene or even a shot just indicating the backstory of a character. Here we have Daisy Ridley, her wedding, and her husband, and the audio and the song is clipped in before we even see it, so it's a J cut going into the visual, and the song is a Project X song. I know it's a song that came out before Project X, but because it was popular and known for Project X, we all call it the Project X song. And also, it follows with the title and something I also strongly hate, actually, in film especially, is news footage explaining what happened and what's happening and what we need to do to prevent it from happening again. I thought the film itself, the title, would indicate more of a metaphor to zombies and we bury the dead in the case of we put down our loved ones and we have to move on. But no, the movie itself is actually a group of people that are hired by the military. Here they're called the body retrievals. And all they do is actually clean out the dead one by one. So the first act is Daisy Ridley and her partner just going to each house, searching, walking, and clearing out the dead. And if there's a walker, if there's a zombie inside, I don't know why, it just stands in the corner and waits for the military to come and be shot at. A fun example of that would be Warm Bodies, where zombies actually started talking and having consciousness. Here, they're just an idea of what if a zombie had a mind of its own and could maybe become better with a cure, but they don't even mention a cure, so I don't know why that would be the case. One unique aspect that does kind of stand out to me is the zombies clenching their teeth. I found that at least the sound of it to be quite bold and innovating, which is actually one of the few positives I have with this film. So I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but I just kind of like to put it into story structure sequence. The beginning of Act 2 was probably the best scene in the film, at least for myself, because it was a 1 minute nightmare sequence where the zombies are actually a threat. Daisy Ridley's in the house, and we think it's just another clean out night. But then she turns around and the zombie just bursts out of the room. It reminded me of Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, where the apocalypse itself is a character because there's fire and there's ash. So I took down a bunch of notes throughout the film, and a lot of them are kind of scribbled because it was really dark to see. Let's see, what do I have in here? Nap Time the movie. Well, yeah, the movie itself is really boring. Wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't watch it again. I wouldn't buy it, obviously. I don't know who would really watch this, but funny enough, my theater itself wasn't a small screen. It was a pretty medium-sized theater, and it was like at least a fourth of the way full. I was expecting to be the only one, maybe another individual, but there were about 15 to 20 people inside that theater. I did hear a couple people snoring, which indicates their enjoyment of it. I wrote down weird scene where a soldier uh, orders her to dance. Oh my gosh, this whole sequence in Act 2, Where do I even begin with this? This is definitely the worst scene. He orders Daisy Ridley to dance, reminding her of his wife that he keeps in the room, and apparently she's pregnant and conscious. Once they dance, he then freaks out because she doesn't put on his wedding ring for her. She keeps her ring on, and he's like, put it on, and she's like, no. And so there's a big fight. She runs and decides to go out of the house, and she tries to go back in for the keys, and there's a moment where they're both looking at it. He runs at her, and then she runs away and doesn't go for the keys, and so it makes the scene even longer, extended. But finishing up with the review, I put Daisy Ridley walks with no purpose because there's no tension, and it's just unnecessary time wasting. There's a cheating twist at the end of the film where she wants to move on by finding her husband. Won't spoil if she does or not, but you find out that perhaps there was infidelity with their marriage in both sides. Not interesting. A lot of throwing up. This movie is gross. I don't have any more notes. I think that's gonna sum up the film. I'd give it a C-, just bad, terrible. I couldn't even imagine if the budget itself was over $1 million. Again, don't really think it's gonna make that in the box office either. Did not make the top 10.
Just a little further.